Hello, my name is Wowpeka, and I am going to say something about the February patch for Hyperlight Breaker. As the February patch came in, I got really excited. As I was looking through February patch, I saw some stuff that covered new enemy types and some new character. Her name is Ravona. Ravonas. I don't know if I'm saying that right. She is a high risk, high reward, which is what her Reaper Psychom does. It prioritizes you having more damage, I guess, as the perk for her Psychom is 25 higher crit chance on low health enemies. So if you boost your crit chance a lot more, that would probably be great. Her Ranger Psychom, I don't know if I'm saying it right, is more of a rail based one, as it makes it so that you fire faster the more ammo you have. It's a 5% fire rate for every 10 points of battery meaning your ammo. The new holobytes that they added are Hunter's Mark, which is shoot an enemy with a rail marks it. Marked enemies take 20% more melee damage. I did get that holobyte in what you're watching right now. I don't know if I used it any. You might be able to see it. Another holobyte is the Spark Seeker, which has a 25% chance to fire a heat-seeking bullet anytime you shoot your rail. And I guess that would go along with Ravona's Ranger Psychom, because it shoots faster the more ammo you have. So I guess if you're shooting faster, that 25% chance would mean about every 4 bullets you're shooting a homing bullet. Another holobyte is Impact Impulsion. Charged attacks release an energy pulse around the player, dealing 25 damage and afflicts your blade's status effect on enemies. So like, say your blade has burning on it, charge attacks would shoot burn around you. I don't know how far, it doesn't say in the patches. Some new weapon affixes that they added are Necrotic Cutter. It's rare, but it increases damage to rot afflicted targets, and it scales 10, 15, 20, 25, and 30. The second new weapon affix is Plasma Heater. It's another rare blade affix. It increases it increases damage to burn afflicted targets by 5, 10, 15, 20, and 25 as it scales. Anemic Edge is another one. It's a uncommon blade affix. It increases stagger damage to targets afflicted with bleed by 5, 10, 15, 20, or 25 as it scales. They also rebalance the danger meter, as the danger meter now triggers less regularly but drops more powerful compositions with more waves. They added a new Crystal Beach research pod, POI. I'm just reading off of the patch notes right now. I'll provide a link to them in the description. They improved the VFX for shrines, jump pads, interactables, and breakables. They didn't really make them better to use, as I have a little bit of trouble in them in the background video. They improved VFXs on executions to make it more rewarding. Tuned attacks magnetism to more often choose enemies in front of you rather than enemies that are closer behind you. So it chooses them ones that are closer in front of you instead of ones that are behind you but are closer. They updated the parry. Its VFX got updated. It's still omnidirectional as it was in launch for early access. They fixed run rotation on successful parry VFXs to match where the hit actually happened too. So now you know where the hit would have hit. Parrying now flinches and interrupts the parrying an enemy will now flinch/interrupt the other nearby enemies, which means it will stagger the enemies that are around you when you parry, so they don't immediately hit you when you parry something else. They also adjusted the parry time windows and they also fixed the window for the cancel into parry timing windows. I'm just reading off of the update patch. They also added new combat statuses. Looting using keys and your hoverboard are now disabled when you are active in combat, so it's a lot harder to run away from an active combat. They changed the golden rations calculations at the end of a cycle. Golden ration meter now progresses. Golden ration meter progresses will now carry over to the next cycle, so it's harder to get new golden rations. So it more or less prioritizes you getting them in that cycle, other than just ending your cycle there and getting your golden rations. They added diminishing returns to meter progress after earning the first 3 rations in a cycle. Gear economy overhaul reduced the chance for rare items and outpost vendors, so it's a lot harder to get blue and yellow. The colors for rarities are a lot different than what you would normally see, as purple is higher than yellow. They increased the chance for rare items in the run vendors, which the vendors inside of the current run before you extract to go into the hub. They increased the chance for rare items in overgrowth chests and corpses. They added the ability to unequip gear and loadout, which is a lot better, and it feels a lot better in this patch than it did in other patches. They balanced some other gear. They nerfed the Breaker Buster's Blade special. They buffed the Radiant SG2 rail to have longer range and more damage. They buffed the Magrit's rail to have longer range. They increased the charge time for the Solar Bolter's charge attack. Warrior Psycom perks are changed to deal 25% more damage when your HP is above 75%. Warrior Sitcom stats are rebalanced. A note that they added was, if you had previously maxed out the Warrior Sitcom, you will still have it maxed out, but you will not be refunded over any overspend. So if you overspended on that one. They nerfed the Blitzblade's bonus damage to be 150% from 200. They also made critical cuffs are now able to have a chance to heal on crit rather than always healing. So when you crit, it doesn't always heal you with that Hollow Bite. A note that they added was, due to localization deadlines, the in-game text does not mention the 25% chance. This text will be updated in our March monthly update. So that 25% chance is not said in the actual game yet. They capped armor from 200 to make it 150. They capped bonus damage for material processors, plasma edge, and plasma powered to 40%. They nerfed a lot here. I'm not going to say that. I guess let's go into the enemy balance overhauls. They changed the AI choreographer to reduce enemy calibration/coordination at the beginning of a cycle. Melee Dirks taunt less. As you can see in the background video, they laugh. I think that's what they're doing. Albino Wolf projectiles move slower but now have modest homing abilities. They reduced AI sensing range, which it was really freaking big after launch. They improved Crockroot's hitboxes. It used to be a lot larger, I think. Wolves now have a taunt/alert animation and sound when aggroed by the player. Improved Adept's hitboxes. Those are the assassins that come after you, I think 3 times in a run. Leapers no longer attempt to intercept aerial players. They added an arming delay to the rifle Dirk's mines, which is a lot easier to see now, other than them just throwing it out. Players now face a drow upon the start of a battle when fighting her in arenas where her cutscene does not play. They always face drow. I think before this patch, I think I experienced it a couple of times where it would keep your current facing direction when you spawned into the drow's arena. Like, say drow was spawned in south, and before I started the boss fight, I was facing east. I would still be facing east. There's a couple of bug fixes, and I mean a lot of bug fixes that are just some small things, but that lead to a big thing. So yeah, I'll link the patch notes in the description, and have a good day.